Well, hello there, YouTube. Yet another video from the Tiddlywinksist. This video is going to be why prep. Why do I prep? Why should you prep? Why would anybody do such a thing as to prepare for anything? I'm sure everybody's seen that show, Doomsday Preppers, and I mean, sure, those guys really do got their stuff down, but on the show, they seem to just prep for one reason or another. Like the lady that only prepared, she was prepared, but just for a super virus that was going to come, or other people that are just preparing for some crazy earthquake to happen. Or I understand it, but whatever gets people prepping, like the zombie apocalypse. I mean, obviously it's most likely not going to happen. It might. It might. I mean, who knows? But it gets people prepping. Well, the reason I prep, and the reason I think everybody should prep, is for everything. An overlying, just all around sense of I have everything I need just in case. It could be, I live in Florida, so it could be a hurricane. It could be a fire. It could be government takeover. It could be an earthquake, or a zombie apocalypse. It could be anything, you know. And you got different things you need, And I prep just basically for an all-around sense of security. Um, like I have plenty of bullets, and I think that's one very important thing. Uh, to have plenty of first aid products. I mean, that's something that's very overlooked because there's going to be things that Patriot Nurse on YouTube, she talks all about first aid. I mean, she is going to be prepped up when it comes to helping people when they're in need after a collapse or something. First aid's a great, great thing. We all need it. And we're talking, you need bandages, obviously, band-aids, antibiotic cream. But you also, the Patriot Nurse says, you need Mucinex for respiratory infections so it doesn't turn into pneumonia and you don't die, peroxide, all kinds of things. With the bullets and the guns, there's obviously different things you need. Um, I think the 22 rifle is going to be your most important prep. And you should probably have the most ammunition for that because you're looking at a penny a bullet, or less. So I mean, I would buy a pistol and a rifle in 22 because it is the greatest caliber for just about anything. You can hunt with it, you can defend yourself with it. I think everybody should have a shotgun, preferably 12 gauge because it is the cheapest and one of the hardest hitting. 10 gauge obviously is a little harder hitting, but ammo is a little more expensive and things like that. I think everybody should have a defensive sidearm that they carry on them at all times, just in case you need it. And it's the same thing. Like I conceal carry because something might happen. Well, I prep because I might need to. Um, and I also think everybody needs a good rifle for, I mean, long range rifle and probably a good defensive rifle as well. And also along with that prep, you need at least 1,000 rounds of ammunition per gun. Some more, some less. 12 gauge, I don't think you need 1,000 rounds. Probably 500 plus is fine. With 22, I think you should have over 2,000. Um, and also with that, with the guns and ammunition part of the prep, I think that everybody should take classes on how to use those firearms and practice with your firearms and learn how to use them in a defensive situation. Learn how to shoot a long range shot because it could save you one day. Then we got food. I mean, yet another important thing, and water, yet another important thing. Here, we'll be fine on water. We have our own well. My family's had the same well for, I don't know, darn near 100 years. So it works out fine for us. But if you don't have such a thing and you're in a big city and you most likely aren't going to have a well, you got to think about water and how much you daily need to consume. And I would have some at least prepped up for 3 months until you can find some more. Because some disasters just are things that could happen. You're just not going to have another source for water. You're going to have it prepped up, stored. In some cases, I think that a good water filtration system would also be good. You know, because the disaster might have something to do with water, you might need to filter it. Or if you have a source of water, but as you know it's not going to be clean, you need to be able to filter it. One of the first things that I would do in a disaster if I lived in a big city, because this is very important, and the waterworks might go out like that. But first thing you need to do in a disaster is fill up your bathtub with water, because that might be the only water you have and it could be life-saving. Also, food preps. You need food for, I would say, yet again, another 3 months. Obviously, I live here in Florida. I can hunt, fish, whatever. My family's been doing it for years. If you're in a big city, yet again, you don't have that background. Gardening is a great thing to prep, but you also just need ready to eat, something you already eat foods. You need them for, you know, the first week, the first month, and then I would say up to 3 months plus. My food storage is actually really small right now. We had a bad run here with German cockroaches, and they nested on everything, and we had to get rid of everything so we could get rid of them. So now I'm having to re-prep all my food, and it's going to be a good thing because I can show you what I do on YouTube when I get my new food. You know, over time I'll show you how I prep and what I use, and I use a lot of canned goods. Cans are good. Just a word of warning though, a lot of people freak out about the BPA in cans. Oh my god, BPA, you're going to die. BPA usually is not released in the cans. Yes, it is on it, but unless you have to rinse the can, which is a bad idea, rinsing the can will release the BPA. It will release all the nasty glues and stuff on the can that you don't want to touch or mess with. So unless you got to rinse it, you're fine. And obviously, along with canned goods, you have to have a can opener and so on and so forth. You want to definitely have everything that you would normally eat in a preppable form. You don't want to have weird stuff that you would never eat, like pork brains and Spam, if you don't normally eat pork brains and Spam. Because food is a good moral boost during a time of disaster. If you're all you have to eat is your pork brains, and that's something you don't normally eat, that could definitely give you a sense of not well-being, and you could feel like crap from eating all of that. And just knowing that all you have to eat is this nasty stuff that you bought because it was 10 cents on a can rack. You know, buy stuff you normally eat. I normally eat and rotate my prep stock. I eat out of it, like green beans, corn, things like that. I eat out of my prep stock so I can keep it rotated, keep the newest stuff in the back, the oldest stuff in the front, so I can eat the older stuff before it goes bad. And you just rotate your stock, rotate. I work in a restaurant, and so what I do is I cook, so I know about rotating foods. I know about food safety, which we'll go over that sometime too. I'll make a video just on food safety and what's safe, what's not. Other things to prep, you definitely, most people don't think about this, but clothes. You definitely want to have extra socks, extra shoes, extra pants, extra shirts, you know, because when you're in a situation where a disaster might have happened, you might be working outside a lot more. And imagine how quick you go through clothes now. Well, you're going to go through them a lot quicker then. And, you know, staying wet and staying dirty all the time obviously is not a good thing. It's just, especially with diseases and stuff that could run rampant. You don't have a doctor to go to. You don't want to get boot rot and have your feet rot off like in Vietnam was happening. Just things like that. I mean, I could go on for days about preps. The sad thing is people that have major problems with them, like diabetics. Uh, let's think of another one. People that are dependent on blood pressure medicine. I mean, these are people that if they don't store just a little bit here and a little bit there of their medications until the disaster happens, so they have enough to taper down and then figure out what to do from there. Start looking for natural cures now. That's what I've been doing. And also, you know, blood pressure, you can use aspirin, and it's a great blood thinner for your high blood pressure. Just different little things like that, you know. And people that are dependent on medications, though, are going to be the first to go, especially ones that don't have things prepped and don't know the natural cures and don't know this and that. And you got to know every little detail of what you are going to need, what your wife is going to need, what your son is going to need, what your daughter is going to need, what your husband's going to need, what your neighbor is going to need, you know. All this rests on your shoulders if you're the prepper. You know, you're the one that's going to be prepping and defending your family. So you got to figure all this out, you know. And it's best to just go ahead and have everything ready in case of a disaster. If somebody says that, you know, you don't need to prep, the government's going to take care of you, I promise you, the government is going to take care of themselves and they're going to laugh and watch you die because they will have what they need. If you're depending on a FEMA camp, just know that FEMA camps are not going to take care of you. You're not going to have everything you need. You're not going to be okay. And all the people with diseases and all the people that are going to rob you and steal from you, they're all going to be in one little camp. So every bad thing that could possibly happen will happen. You want to be prepared for yourself. You just need to be prepared for any and everything. You know, I listed what I thought to prep for, you know. And yet again, that's everything. So again, this is my just quick video on why prep. That's what it's going to be called, why prep. And those are the reasons I think you should prep. Again, this is Tiddlywinksist. I hope everybody has a good day, and goodbye you.